We are celebrating our 80th anniversary. We were trying to incorporate it, really, the celebration of that into everything that we do leading up to Easter. And so we've been doing history on Sunday morning. We're going to be letting people know that our different events like Easter Experience and the like are all part of an 80-year legacy. And so it's been really exciting to look at the history of the church, and we've worked our way through some of the decades, and we're working our way through the 70s this morning. And the 70s brought a lot of changes to Florida and the beaches. Tampa International Airport added new terminals, Disney World opened, and tourists began arriving from other states. Many of the cottages, the beach cottages that were housed tourists, were torn down to make way for larger condos and hotels for the tourists. The tourists and regular snowbirds came to church each year, and many of them became associate members here at the church. Tourist buses would bring visitors because they knew that the people that came here would have a fantastic time when they attended church by the sea. The First John's Pass Bridge, which was built in 1927, was replaced in 1971 with catwalks for fishing. It was also wider. It was two lane. And so now people could fish, and word got out that the fishing was really good there. And so even more people started to come to be a part of this little community. Each year, those who perished in the waters were remembered with a floating wreath. And so the pastor would come, stand on the bow of a boat, and cast wreaths into the water for each of those that had passed during that fishing season. It's mentioned here in the history that during choppy waters, he did get a little bit queasy. So Madeira Beach now has less than 5,000 full-time residents, but 3,000 tourists. 30% of the population is under 25 years of age. 29% are 65 or older. Sunday school and the youth group at Church by the Sea, it was filled with activities for younger families who were coming to the beaches. From the early years of Church by the Sea, the Easter sunrise service had been held on a vacant strip of land near 150th Avenue, which is now Remember Our Children Park. We had our sunrise service out there, and that's been a part of our history for forever. But because there was building taking place there, we ended up moving to a place called the Tiki Gardens. And so I was told that the Tiki Gardens was like a kind of like a touristy attraction where they had monkeys and peacocks there. So they joined in for the service on their day. I was also told that at one point, the maintenance people had forgotten to reconfigure the timer for the sprinklers one Easter Sunday morning. So everyone got an early morning shower for Easter. Church by the Sea also became known as the wedding church because of the proximity to the beach, the beautiful building, the fellowship hall, the beautiful rose window, which is now on our back wall. They swapped when the Christ window came along, but that rose window, when the natural light would come through it, it cast beautiful colors in the sanctuary for weddings. And so now you hear all the time people coming through and saying, "We got married at this church." I hear at Church by the Sea. You know, when I look at this decade, it's a decade of favor. The church is really being established, and the work of the church's hands is being established by the Lord. It's an exciting time. There's happy memories in here. There's reaching out to the community. Things are being developed. And when we have those times of favor from the Lord, when we're really, really blessed, we have to remember who is our source in that. Psalm 44:3 says, "It was not by their sword that they won the land, nor did their arm bring them victory. It was your right hand, the Lord's, your arm, and the light of your face, for you loved them." So when we look at decades like the 70s and we see that same favor being applied to the church in other ways today, we have to remember that it's by His hand, it's by His arm, it's by the light of His face, and it's because He loves us. It's His favor, it's His grace alone that allows us to experience those beautiful times as we do now and as they did then in the church's history.